for the artwork in your book?
Yeah, this is great.
A friend of mine, his
Fabulous.
name's Eric Mies.
Right. It's beautiful.
A graphic artist?
We're back. Oh, welcome back. Getting me in trouble reading Lilykins while I'm on the job, right? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Making the Grade with Dr. Wagner. I am Dr. Truett Wagner, your host. And today we will go to Pure Visions Arts. We will meet the director and see some of her students, and then we will be right back.
And it's the first studio and gallery space for artists with autism and developmental disabilities in New York City. We provide studio space, art materials, instruction to a number of growing artists who are garnering major attention for their unique and expressive artwork. Yes, many of our artists' works are in private, corporate, and museum collections. Every year we show at the Outsider Art Fair. We've also been very fortunate to show at the Transit Museum. We've had our anniversary shows at the Folk Art Museum. We've had shows at the Marlborough Gallery. So one of the things we help the artists do is to make their work available to curators and collectors and try to get their work more visible in the public and increase the visibility of this art, and also try to reduce the stigma and misperceptions about people with autism. If you want to get involved as an artist, there's actually currently a waiting list. The program is full because it's a small program and we're the only program like this in New York City. But if you want to get involved, you can go on our website, you can give us a call, you can bring in your work. There is a portfolio review and there is certain requirements for eligibility. We are a Medicaid funded program. Our artists are very diverse. Many of them, everybody here actually works at their own pace, at their own level, and explores their own personal interests. There is no formal instruction. So everyone is self-taught, and that's part of the beauty, is that everyone develops their own pure visions based on their own personal interest. So artists get inspiration from a wide variety of sources based on whatever their interests are and their life experiences.
Yeah.
It's very much like a community of like-minded people here. Many of the people in this program have not done well in other traditional settings or programs. A lot of that was because of what people called an obsession or a fixation with their art. But here we see that as an asset, and we see the art as a career that can be developed. So most of the people here are extraordinarily passionate and motivated and have the identity of an artist. They enjoy selling their work, they enjoy being in exhibitions, they enjoy getting money for the sale of their art, and for them it's a career. They receive 50% sales of all the work, and then 50% of the other 50%, because we're not-for-profit, goes back to pay for them to have more supplies and materials and for the framing, and goes back to the program.
Yes, my name is Christopher Panopoulos, and I'm a Pure Vision artist.
Okay.
My inspiration is from reading a lot of books and watching a lot of movies and stuff, and of different eras in time, different like ancient weapons that watched and learned and tried to recreate over years of learning, of experience of learning how to make them as well. I call them sculptures of different eras, and like certain weapons that I wanted to try to recreate over time.
Okay.
It's a different atmosphere.
Did you always want to be an artist?
Yeah, that's kind of my life right now. It's art. I love doing art.
Have you?
I see myself going to many galleries, showing off my artwork, giving people an understanding of what my artwork is, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's a fictional visual artwork. It was named The Path of Majestic Passageways. It's basically based on like a psychedelia or some sort of visual music that I listen to is progressive rock from the 70s.
Okay.
And that kind of really listen to music and interpret the visual as well from the artwork as well. The music was really appealing because it's a really like an artistic form type of atmosphere. And I listened to that, like for example, like Genesis, King Crimson, Jethro Tull, and Yes, and a few other bands like that.
Great. Okay.
Constructed, effortless for Chase to do, completely independent. And now he's making this series of larger scale vehicles, which are quite remarkable in terms of the specificity and also even in terms of the make, the model, the year is noted on each one. And some are very specific and historically important. For instance, this is Rosa Parks' bus. On the bottom of each car. He started making these as toys as a young child and has perfected this technique over the years. And now he just had a solo show at Pioneer Works in Brooklyn. His work's in many private museums collections, and he's become quite popular in Europe at many outsider museums and galleries as well. It's again just all cut cardboard and glue. Ingenuity.
Yeah, and this is my cat right
Okay.
there. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, yes, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
And good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
No, what is her name?
Her name is Callie, and she is an apricot toy poodle. She's a purebred, and she's been a therapy dog with me for 12 years.
We have Nancy George-Michalson from New York Therapy Animals. We also have Paulina Brisco, a publicity professional using her skills to encourage people to give a home to an animal who will love them back. Paulina is also the host of Adopt-A-Pet at New York, which can be seen right here on Spectrum's MNN. And last, Max Goodman, my good friend and tennis buddy, and most importantly, the author and mastermind behind The Secret Life of Lilykins, a children's book that has been called clever, creative, positively enchanting. New York Therapy Animals, what do you do there, and who do you serve?
Well, New York Therapy Animals is a nonprofit organization. We are the affiliate of Intermountain Therapy Animals,
Okay.
which is located in Salt Lake City,
Okay.
Utah.
And that's nationally.
Actually, it's an international
Okay.
organization because of the READ program. I'm also the affiliate for the READ program, which is an acronym for Reading Education Assistance Dogs.
Okay.
And this is a program that started in 1999 in Salt Lake City. It was the first and foremost reading to therapy dog program, support program for children who are struggling readers, who are a little behind in their reading skills and fluency and comprehension. Their self-confidence. So we incorporate therapy dogs into the schools and the public libraries. Our motto is excellence through education. Our therapy dog trainer has been teaching therapy dog training classes for over 25 years now. So she is an animal behaviorist and the best trainer in New York.
Okay.
So we're lucky to have her.
Okay, so now, but getting to the concept of the benefit. Okay,
Right.
So and these children are reading to the animals.
Right.
How then is is it beneficial as opposed to, let's say, reading to another kid or another adult? Or?
It is, because it's the interpersonal relationship between the child, the animal, and the human, and their connections that they have. Without that connection, that forming of that bond between them, the three of them, nothing really happens, because the child is reading to the therapy dog in a non-judgmental atmosphere. Right. I must also say that the therapy dogs, to become a therapy dog, the dog is trained and registered and insured. Every therapy dog team has liability insurance before they can go into a school or a library or a healthcare facility. So and also the READ program is an extra course that that they have to take in order to work with children in a school or library. So in a school or library environment, the children are, maybe fearful of hearing their voice out loud. Maybe they raise their hand and the kids laugh at them. This is an opportunity for the children to read to the dog, and the conversation is from the handler. So my dog's name is Callie, actually, and you'll meet Callie.
Yes.
So Callie, so I would say to the child, so Truett, tell Callie what this word means, because you're speaking to Callie and telling her, and they actually become the tutor, helping the dog to understand what they're reading.
Right.
So they can point to the words, they can show the dog the pictures. This really works very well for kindergarten to third grade, when children are learning to read. After third grade, children are reading to learn.
To learn, yes, absolutely. Okay, great. And I love what you said about the children themselves becoming the tutor, because that also adds just a little bit of responsibility, which is wonderful. And again, getting back to my first years in this career as a counselor, working in mental health, and my first few years in a rehab setting, that was a very big component. We did not encourage our patients to leave and go into a relationship. We encouraged them to primarily get a pet. And also with the pet, they would experience responsibility, some of which for the first time in their lives. And we're not talking about children, we're talking about adults.
Right.
So that responsibility factor is very, very important. And I'm very glad you brought that up, that the child actually becomes the tutor, so to speak, for the animal. So, but yeah, okay,
It is. Go ahead.
No,
it is. It's a commitment and a responsibility for the handler to be very aware of their dog or their cat or their animal at all times when they're visiting in a healthcare facility, a school, or a library. So it is a responsibility. It's a commitment, but it's also the children are learning responsibility, like you're saying. They're learning to understand boundaries. Where's the best place to pet the dog, different ways of communicating with the handler and the dog. The handler is helping the child with fluency and comprehension and forming this bond of trust. Trust is very important when children might not get it so much in other places. So this is an opportunity for them to really be themselves, to really work. There are other variables, of course, in a school situation.
Absolutely.
But the children they're having the best time. They're reading, they're coming to school, they're raising their hand more. They're actually taking care of themselves better, because the therapy dogs have to be clean. They get their teeth brushed every day, believe it or not. And so they have to, and so the children are emulating this behavior of the dog. And the dogs are impeccably groomed, and they become such great friends. And actually in the school system, they're becoming the school mascots.
Oh wow, that's great. Well, I love the mascot, the mascot factor, but more importantly, what I did really appreciate as an educator is you said they get to be themselves.
Yes.
Well, first of all, tell us about your talk show.
My show, because the experience of adopting this little dog has been so amazing for me, and I've learned so much more about pet adoption in the last year, I'm trying to encourage anyone who's thinking of getting an animal to absolutely adopt rather than shop. They say adopt, don't shop. Because there's absolutely no need at this point to buy a dog when there are so many filling the shelters and the rescues. that need homes. And the cats, there's so many cats available that you just don't need to buy one.
Okay.
So,
But
and
now
I'm
the-
also
the-
trying to encourage people that are thinking about getting an animal to take the leap.
Right. But now the numbers have gone down, right? There has been progress.
There has been progress.
Yeah.
You know, I almost don't want to say that because I don't want people to think that the crisis is over, but the numbers are going down. A few years ago, it was about 2.7 million a year, and think in 2011.
You mean that they would
that are
put the-
euthanized.
Euthanized,
in,
yes.
in the United States, in 2011, there were 2.7 million animals that could have made great pets.
Right.
These aren't aggressive animals or unadoptable animals. These are adoptable animals that just didn't have a place to go. So depending on where you get your statistics, it's right now it's about 1.5 million per year.
That's good. That's a pretty good
It
little
is
drop
going
there,
down.
yeah.
The message is getting out there. Adopt, don't shop. Get these animals out of shelters.
All right. Okay, and now you also speak on your show about the health benefits. You speak of a variety of things. I see exercise, anxiety. Tell us some of the things about owning
There are so many, you know, Nancy was just talking, there's just so many benefits to owning a pet. The first one, and one that I experienced personally, was a reduction in stress and anxiety, and specifically blood pressure. My blood pressure dropped without medication dramatically when I got my little dog. He, you know, just holding him, looking at him, and I've noticed that even just looking at pictures of him helps me feel better. But the studies do show that the blood pressure does go down. Cat owners specifically are between 30 to 40% less likely to have a stroke
Yeah,
than
that,
any
I found
other.
that fascinating. Why cats though? I
Well-
mean, why would it be just cat? I mean,
Than any other pet
yeah,
owner.
I'm like, you know.
They say that cats are extremely soothing, extremely calming, and also they're the lowest maintenance pet.
Right.
So but they also say that they're not sure if it's because they own a cat or because people who get cats have a calmer lifestyle, but they are dramatically less likely to have a stroke. Getting a dog also can help. First of all, getting a dog can help you lose weight. It can help lower your cholesterol. Everybody knows as soon as you get a dog, you're more likely to start increasing the amount of walking
And you
that
know
you
something
do.
else too. When I was doing the research that you sent me over, you said that if I believe it was in men or elderly men or one of the groups that you discussed, if you have a dog that needs to be walked, you will more likely walk that dog as opposed to going on a walk with a friend or a next door neighbor or something.
There was an article in the New York Times last year that said that elderly people are more likely to take a walk if the companion is canine rather than human.
Yeah.
So
you know, when I read that again as I was putting together the research, I think a lot of it has to do with the responsibility factor. A lot of people are just not very sociable, or you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, but are you know, somewhat don't show emotion as much, and then whenever you have that little bit of responsibility there, you know, it really does spark some energy. So I thought that was fascinating, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that was great.
it is, and although the funny thing is about walking your dog or having a pet in general is it does make you more social. Because many people find that they are more willing to talk to strangers who have a dog. I'm certainly more social these days because I'll talk to another dog walker. Just did you buy or did you rent or did you adopt or how old is your dog? Is it a boy or a girl? And you're all of a sudden having more conversations just because you're more willing to meet people.
Right. Well, and also I think, again, whenever I was reading that aspect of it too, just from a psychosocial viewpoint, or as a social scientist, I'm always trying to analyze everything, but at the end of the day, our pets mean something to us. My great good friend, Deanna, she moved from New York 10, 15 years ago, and we still keep in touch, and she has cats now, and I have cats. I started out with dogs, but now I have cats. Two of my favorite photographs in my life right now are one of her in my office with her cat, and another one of her on the wall with her cat. So, and it kind of brings us together. You know,
really
animals
does.
do have some sort of linked bond there socially to other animal owners. So that was great. Now, you also bring up the concept of cost.
Yes.
Buying a puppy or kitten as opposed to adopting one.
So with dogs, you are looking at anywhere to buy a dog anywhere from between $500 to $1,000 and much more. Whereas when you adopt an animal, you're talking between $50 and $200 at the most. And that's if you're getting a younger dog. I'm a big advocate of adopting older dogs and older cats. They desperately need homes. The wonderful thing about adoption, when you adopt an animal, that animal has been checked out, it's already spayed or neutered, it's received excellent vet care. When you buy a puppy, either online or from a pet store, you do not know what you're getting. But with a facility like the ASPCA, they have carefully cared for that animal for the time that it's been in that facility, and it's received excellent veterinary care, and you know what you're getting. For the most part, you really know what you're getting.
I just want to say that, you know, we have a number of therapy dogs in New York, therapy animals that are rescue dogs. And so they are rescued by their wonderful parents or parent, and they go through our process to become a therapy dog team, but they also now are given a new job. They're given this job to go out and help others. And they're so grateful, rescuing a dog or an animal of any kind, they're so grateful that you've rescued them and that you've helped them. And so I think that because our organization has all different kinds of breeds, sizes, shapes of dogs, different, you know, they just have to have a good temperament and behavior, but they are just great catalysts, no matter if they're a rescue dog or purebred or whatever. They're just a great catalyst to motivating people, to helping with people who might feel lonely. And our therapy dogs that are rescue dogs are just the sweetest that can be. And
so anyway, Lilykins, we're going to show some great footage, and of course behind us there you see those two cats. That's from the images of this wonderful book that has got very good reviews and doing quite well. Now you also are going to readings as well, right? You've done a few readings.
I've done one so far, which was at the Brooklyn Cat Cafe, which is, even though it has the term cafe, it's really, they don't serve food. It's their focus is about adopting cats, and their model is that you pay some small amount just to come in and interact with cats, and if you're interested, you adopt one.
Right.
And every now and then they'll have events for children or readings by authors, and they were very nice and asked me to come in and read an excerpt.
Right, that's great. Well, so why the idea behind Lilykins? What happened?
Well, the book was actually inspired by my two cats, excuse me, who you see behind you, Charlie and Lily. And you know, I couldn't agree more with what we've been discussing about the power of pets that they can have on your mental health and your sense of well-being. We got them right around the same time. They're both 4.5. They're both rescues.
Oh,
and
wow, okay.
yeah, they're absolutely the center of my world, and I love them. And yeah, you know, like many cats, Charlie and Lily, they often seem like they have multiple personalities. One moment they'll be calm, they'll be happy, and then they're just freaking out, you know, running, climbing up the walls. And sort of the beauty of animals is that we really don't know why they do what they do, why they behave the way they do. But I sort of thought it was fun to just imagine what was going on in their minds at the time. So my focus was on Lily, who's the female cat, the brown one. I just imagined that she sort of, you know, transported herself to some special place and went on these adventures. So the book is essentially, it was inspired, I guess you could say, by the Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Can you show them
sure,
show them the book?
You know, and every scene starts with an everyday sort of scenario, whether it's sitting in the window and looking at birds, and then she's suddenly transported to this fantasy world where she's, you know, she's a queen, or she's a crime fighter, or a secret agent.
She, in one of and I bought the book and I love the book as well. She's running for mayor or something. Now we're going to show that image on everybody will see the image on the screen. We won't see it here. But I thought it was so cute that the cat would run for the mayor. Yeah, so she's doing just about everything, right?
Yes, there's no area Lily hasn't explored.
Okay, now getting back to a topic that we can all somewhat discuss now. I learned a new word. This is not my area. Say it. Anthropomorphism. Am I saying it right? Yeah. What is that?
Anthropomorphism is when we attribute human values or attitudes or behaviors to animals.
Right.
Anytime, you know, you have a film or a book with a talking cat or a cat who, you know, expresses feelings, that is an example of anthropomorphism.
Yeah, again, with Lilykins and knowing you were coming on, I did a little bit of research on that area. You know, quite a few. Just looking over, we could name them off the top of our heads. What is Winnie the Pooh, Dumbo. I would say probably one out of every 5 or 6 children's classic has a bear, a tiger. What is it? The Jungle Book.
Bambi.
Bambi, yes, the whole 9 yards of it. So what do we think? There's a school of thought out there that says this is not very good because it creates an inappropriate image of the animal kingdom.
While anthropomorphizing might not be totally accurate, I don't really think there's a lot of harm in it. I think, when you have movies or books of animals that are for kids that make animals seem like people, it's for a purpose. You want kids to understand, you want them to learn some lesson or some moral. I know we had talked about the Finding Nemo and Dory series.
Yes.
In those, the main characters, they both have some sort of disability, whether it's a bad memory or, an underdeveloped fin. And, we see that they feel a sense of, whether it's shame or loneliness or concern that, it allows kids to sort of relate and understand that people experience similar feelings.
I think so too. I
So
think that's
while,
a very good point.
yes, we don't know if a fish feels embarrassment, I don't think there's any harm in having a character that has those feelings.
Wow. I love doing this show primarily because I get to meet so many people who are making such a positive difference. I can't thank our guests enough. You guys in the studio were great, amazing. Lilykins on sale, New York Therapy Animals, and catch Paulina's show.